Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it is a narration of a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister, and the narration, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? My brother, I am married to a man whom I can say that he is a very wealthy man. The only problem is that I do not have a child. When I look at the goals that I had in life, I ticked all the goals, got married to a man that has a lot of cash. No matter if he was married or not, I didn't care. All that I wanted was to get married to a man that was rich, who will be able to take care of me and my family. And I was able to tick that box. And then the problem that I am facing right now is that I can't give birth, not because of a natural condition, but there are things that my husband's first wife did to me. She removed my womb using her magic after she had gone to visit this very powerful traditional healer. So I was told by my own traditional healer, my spiritual father, that when he was busy with something else, that was when my husband's first wife got the opportunity. They used their charms on me. She then removed my womb, and right now that traditional healer of mine, my spiritual father, told me that my womb is locked up in this other clay pot, and this clay pot, it is in her home. So the only way that this clay pot that contains my womb can be broken, if I can at least kill her. This is what the traditional healer told me. Let me go back a little bit in the past. When me and my future husband met, it was after my big sister had called me so that I can go with her to her church. She wanted me to give my life to Christ, but I never wanted to do that. She kept on forcing me, and then I went to her church. Whilst we were at her church, my brother, that was when I came into contact with my future husband. We were sitting there in church. Then suddenly, we then looked at each other. The way that I felt, my brother, I felt that I just wanted to make love to him right there in church. Later on, after the service, after the pastor had preached, after we had all knocked off, so everyone was busy greeting each other, then this man, he approached me, and when he greeted me, I felt that he was rubbing his finger in the palm of my hand, and immediately I knew that this man, he was attracted to me. I looked at him and I smiled. Quickly, he asked me where I worked, and I knew that there was no time for him to ask for my phone numbers, and the reason as to why he had asked me about where I work, it was because he wanted to pay me a visit. Quickly, I responded to him and I told him the street where I was working at that time. I was working at that other saloon, but as for now, my brother, I have my own saloon and a lot of flea markets here in the CBD, here in Harare. Later on, like the following Monday, he came early in the morning when we were busy opening up our saloon. I then saw a very beautiful car, those big cars that big boys drive. The car came and parked by the side of the road, and I saw him getting out of his car, and I said, finally, God, I have made it. He has came from me. So he came to where I was with my workmates. We spoke and we went to the side and we spoke for a very long time. Then later on, he then texted me and he told me that he loved me. So when he told me that he loved me, I said, if you love me, can you please come back? Because I just wanted to seal the deal, and I know that from experience, the only way that you can seal the deal is by making love to the man that will be chasing after you, so that you can start to control his mind already. My brother, this man, he came back, and when he came back, we then went to this other place where we ended up sleeping together, and we really had a nice time. I showed him a lot of styles that I had never showed any man before. I wanted to satisfy him, and I ended up satisfying him, and he was really happy about it, my brother. From there on, we then started dating each other. He kept on telling me that I should come to that church where he was going to, but I told him that if we keep on doing this, in the end, his wife was going to suspect. And indeed, his wife ended up suspecting. There was this other day when I went to his church. He was sitting right next to his wife, and I felt really jealous. I wanted to cry, even though when I was in church, I felt like there were tears that were about to flow out of my eyes. So I said, let me go outside so that I can relax. You know, when you are sleeping with a man, when you see that man with his wife, you just feel very jealous. So when I went outside, he saw that the way that I had gotten up from the chair where I was sitting, there was something, there was a meaning to it. So he also rushed outside and we started speaking, and I told him that I was in pain because he had showed me that he loved his wife more than he loved me. He tried to tell me that he loved me also. He wanted me to become his second wife. By that time, when he was telling me that he also loved me, that was when his wife came out and asked us why we were standing right next to each other, and there was no response at all. My brother, me and this guy, we then continued sleeping with each other. But I said, right here, right now, let me make a quick move so that I can secure the bag. I wanted to secure this guy. I wanted him all to myself. So I then went and I was given some herbs and charms that I was supposed to put in the food when I was cooking for him. Then there was something else again that I was given. I was given a very small clay pot. It is a polished small clay pot. I was told that I had to place this small black clay pot underneath the bed, but I have to put it on the side where he will be sleeping. Each and every time when he comes to my place, I always place it on the side where he will be sleeping. I do this so that he can be attracted to me forever. The traditional healer told me that I should never sleep on the side where I would have placed this clay pot. So each and every time when he comes, I make sure that he always sleep on the other side of the bed, and I always sleep on the other side of the bed. He even complained about this issue, and I told him that this is the way that I like to sleep, so he has to get used to it. But what he doesn't know is that there is a clay pot that is underneath the bed that I place underneath the bed each and every time when he comes to visit me, my brother. Then there was this other time when I returned back to that traditional healer. What I wanted to happen was that I wanted to use a charm whereby if he was going to sleep with his wife, then his wife was going to die. So I went to that traditional healer. I was made to strip myself naked. Then I was made to lay down on this other reed mat. Then this traditional healer, using his own charms, I then saw that I was actually holding my husband's manhood, like physically. I saw it. How it happened, I do not know, but I found myself holding it in my hand. And that traditional healer told me that I had to make love to myself using my man's manhood. And when I looked at my man's manhood, my brother, it started to go erect. And then I took it and I started to make love to myself. And when the manhood was about to produce the semen, then the traditional healer told me to remove it from my private parts. And then the traditional healer told me that I had to place this manhood on top of that clay pot so that the semen can fall directly into that small clay pot. And that was what happened, my brother. This manhood, when it was producing the sperm fell directly into that small clay pot. And after that, the traditional healer told me that it was done. When I returned back home, my brother, I had the clay pot that was full of the sperm, so I had placed it in a small plastic bag and I had placed it in a handbag. And the traditional healer had told me that I was supposed to make sure that this semen that was inside that clay pot, it was not supposed to spill over. So I even purchased a bus ticket for a bus that is very expensive, those buses that are never crowded. so that this clay pot can be safe. When I arrived back home, I walked into my bedroom. To my surprise, my brother, when I looked into the mirror, I nearly collapsed because I saw that same traditional healer. He was there in my bedroom, but he was in the mirror, inside the mirror. He laughed and he told me not to be afraid because he was just checking up on me. He asked me if everything was okay. He asked me if the semen was still there inside that clay pot. So I quickly looked for that clay pot inside my handbag and I showed him. To my surprise, all the sperms that were there, they had gone missing, and he said that he is happy for the charms had worked. But the problem was that when we tried to use my man's manhood to destroy his first wife, like to kill his first wife as per our ritual, then that woman's ancestors and my husband's ancestors, they came and they spoke. They said that what we wanted to do spiritually, it was not possible because my man and his first wife, when they got married to each other, they were actually blessed in the spiritual realm. So we cannot place a curse, this type of a curse on my husband's first wife. So that is where we ended with that story. But the way that I used my man's manhood is that if he ever sleeps with a prostitute or any woman, if he sleeps with that woman, then that woman will eventually die because of that clay pot that I always place underneath my bed, that clay pot that I inserted his manhood into and leaving his sperm in there. If he ever leaves his sperm in any other woman that is not me or his wife, then that woman will eventually die. That is the curse that I placed on my husband, because I told myself that, yes, I know that he is a married man, but I do not want him to get married to another woman. I am like his bus stop. He chose me, so he does not have to choose another woman. What is it? Whatever that he could not get from his wife, he will get it from me. Anything that he can't get from me, he is going to get it from his wife. So there is no need for him to find another woman, a third wife. I do not want. I want to be the last wife, and I want things to remain the way that they are. This man, it satisfies me in bed as well as financially, so I do not want to share him with another woman. So the issue that started to happen was that my husband asked me why I was not falling pregnant. I returned back to that traditional healer. Then the traditional healer told me that the reason as to why I can't conceive, it is because of my husband, first wife. She has that clay pot, and inside that clay pot, it is always full of blood, and my womb is inside that clay pot. She tied my womb and placed it inside that clay pot. So I will never fall pregnant, only if she dies. This is what the traditional healer told me. If she dies, then this means that her oath, her covenant, the altar will be broken. Then I will be able to give birth. So I do not know what I should do. This traditional healer told me that it will be an easy process to have this woman killed, but I am not sure. I am scared. I do not want blood on my hands, but at the same time, for me to secure the bag, currently I am securing the bed using my attraction as well as using my sexual experience, what I do to my husband in bed. But I want to give him a child so that I can completely secure the bag. I do not want him to get married to another woman or impregnate another woman. What pains me the most is that if my husband's first wife, if she did not have a child, if I was the one who would have came into the relationship and given my husband a child, then I know that the rest of the family members, they were going to love me. But as things stand right now, I do not have a child, yet his first wife has his kids, and I am even worried that at the end of the day, his relatives are going to tell him to dump me, and I can't let them, and I do not want him to dump me please advise me, should I get this first wife killed? Yes, I know that out there are people that are going to judge me, but these are the results of a man wanting two wives at the same time, because we are going to fight for you, and this is like a spiritual battle that will, and there will always be a big spiritual battle that will always happen when two women are married to the same man. They will be fighting for his wealth. They will be fighting for his attention. And I will keep on fighting for his attention and his wealth. I will never go back to where I was, just working in the saloon, just being a regular girl. Now, at least when I look at myself, I am a lady boss, because he opened up some shops for me in town, as well as some saloons that he opened up for me. I just need to have a child for him, to give him a child, so that I can totally secure the bag. Then I will know that I will be blessed for the rest of my life. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister, and that was the narration of her own story. I hope that men out there, you heard this story. She said that these are the consequences when a man wants to have two wives in his life. Those women will always fight against each other. So please let us talk about this issue in the comment section.